Hello everyone, welcome to Azivian. My name is Berna, and in today's video I'm going to share with you a system that I created to help you analyze your life and also set sensible, achievable yet ambitious goals for this new year and really have like a way better shot at achieving them. On December 31st, 2018, I set a goal to get really fit. And then the next day, I went to my usual gym and it was packed. Everyone else, like myself, had the same goal of getting really fit or like losing weight, and that's why I was at the gym, because it was the New Year's Day. I don't know how many more of those people went to the gym the next day because I didn't go. I'm assuming that half of those people didn't go either. I managed to get fit, but not because I set New Year's resolutions the following year, but because I created this system that I'm going to show you that will help you analyze your life in its entirety and focus on areas of your life that really matter to you or that need immediate attention. And by using that, you can set appropriate goals for yourself in this new year that will really help you achieve those goals. And I will explain you step by step so you can replicate it. And it will all make sense, so please stay with me until the end. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first thing to do is identify areas of your life that are important to you. A few examples are family, friends, spirituality, personal development, school, high school, university, anything, finances, health, volunteering, career, fun/play, romance, environment, aka your home, traveling, happiness, and creativity. So the most important thing here is to identify areas that are unique to you. So really pay attention to your values and the person that you are when you're looking at these areas. And always try to keep like a year in your mind. So like what are the things that are going to be important to you in this year? So that's something to keep in mind. The second thing to do is prioritize them. So look at all the areas that we just chose and prioritize them. Always think about the pressing issues as well as importance when you're prioritizing your areas. So the third thing to do is put them on a graph, and I'll walk you through this. This is slightly more complicated, but I got you. And for this, you can either use a pen and paper, which I prefer personally, or you can use Excel to create a graph. And I'm going to show you both. I hope that helps for you. I'm just going to split the screen so we have both pen and paper and Excel. On the x-axis, which is the horizontal line, list all the areas you choose in order of priority or importance. The most important one should be on the very left. And on the y-axis, which is the vertical line, write down all the numbers from 0 to 10. So the first step is to rate your life. Now you have your graph, you can start rating your life. Take a look at each area and rate it according to how successful or fulfilled you feel. Here, trust your gut feeling. Your first instincts are usually right in this case. You can also use half numbers if you wish, like 5.5 or 9.5 to rate yourself. If you're using Excel, you can just type the numbers next to each category and click on Insert Bar Graph once you're done with ranking. So the fifth step is to interpret the data. As we finish assessing our lives, we need to interpret the data so we can use it to set goals and understand the areas of our life that are important to us. So the first thing to do is take an average of all our ratings. To do that, we are going to add up all our rankings and divide them by the number of areas that we have. So once you have your average, create a line horizontally across your graph so you know where your average is. This way you can look at each area and see how you performed compared to your own average. And in some of the areas you're gonna perform above average, and in some of them you're gonna perform under average, but we are going to look at these areas to understand where we need to work on our lives. Okay, so the sixth step is to identify our lowest point in our lives. I always think that the lowest point in the areas that we care about in our lives is how happy we can be. Allow me to explain. Let's say finances are important to you and you are in a lot of debt. And if you have been in that situation, you know that you constantly think about your finances because you either get some sort of notice every day or like you have to think about it every time you're going grocery shopping or you're buying anything. You have to be like, I don't have enough money, I can't afford this. And that's very normal. And that's why I say you are as happy as your lowest point. That's why in this step we are going to identify our lowest point point and put out those fires so we can be happier in life. Either pick one or two of the lowest point in your life. If there's only like one that's really low, just stick with that one. But if there are two that really needs immediate attention, pick those 2 points. And then once you do that, we are also going to circle or underline or pick the 2 most important areas in our lives. And at the end of this, we should usually come up with 3 or 4 areas that needs our attention, and then we should base our goals on. And this is where this system is so important, because when we usually set goals or New Year's resolutions, we always think about the things that we wish we had rather than the things that we need. For example, for years I had a New Year's resolution or a goal to read like 52 books a year. But the thing is, like, I'm already a student. I'm already learning every day. And it was so hard for me to incorporate more reading into my life. I realized, like, I can read once I graduate. I can read once I fulfill my immediate dreams and goals. Okay, now you identified all the areas that you want to work on and you need to set goals on. You're going to use the SMART goals technique, which I'm going to explain in a little bit, to set our goals, because that's how we can structure our goals properly so we have the most chance of achieving them. But before I do that, I want you to think really, really big on your goals. I think that's the thing. It should be attainable, but it needs to be big enough that it excites you. And I think that's where people fall into the trap of being too realistic. If their goals don't excite them, like, what's the point of achieving them? If you're gonna be like mildly happy when you achieve it, like, I will have no motivation to achieve that goal. Think bigger than you usually do, or like maybe set like a realistic goal and think about how much you can push that so it actually becomes something that would transform your life. That's my advice on you. Think big and think smart. So SMART. What are SMART goals? The S stands for specific. And here you have to understand why you have this goal and what the goal is. M stands for measurable. Going back to my example, instead of saying get really, really fit, I probably should have said something like be strong enough so you can do like 12 push-ups in a row. So it has to be measurable. So by the time you're done with your goal, you know that you achieved it, versus getting really fit. That will change. As I get more fit, I'll probably think that I'm not fit enough. So my goal is gonna get pushed because I don't know how to measure my goal. So that's really important. A stands for attainable. And I want to say yet ambitious. Like, it needs to be attainable so it's within your abilities, but it also needs to be ambitious enough so you want to achieve the goal, or it actually changes your life once you achieve your goal. So that's important to add. R stands for relevant, and we pretty much covered it because it has to be relevant to you and your dreams and your values. So R is good to go. And T is time bound, so you have to give it a deadline. And in this case, just because we are starting a new year doesn't mean your goals should be within the next year. It should have longer term goals, which would allow you to look at the bigger picture, but also shorter term goals like 3 months, 6 months. In any case, it needs to be time bound, so it has to have a deadline. You can't keep pushing your goals to the next year. Once you have all your goals written down, divide them into monthly and then weekly goals. You don't have to have all 52 weeks planned ahead. But the first thing to do is that you have these long-term goals, and then you're going to divide them. In the start of January, you're going to have monthly goals that are related to those long-term goals. And then each week, as you're planning out the week, you're going to look at your monthly goals and see what you can achieve that week and that day, so you're that much closer to your goals. And every 3 to 6 months, come back to this graph and rate yourself again and see where you are. Like, look at your average, like, have you improved in certain areas, or the most importantly, have you improved in the areas that you chose to set goals in? Those are the most important ones. And if you haven't, then you have to reassess your goals. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, and check out my videos when you're here. And please tell me in the comments below how you felt about this system, and I want to know what your goals are for the next year so we can support each other and create a community. Thank you so much. Bye for now.